Everybody, welcome back to Recovery Junkie. I'm Jason, and today I want to talk about a very important thing. What leads people out to relapse is basically the thoughts, the feelings, triggers, urges, impulse, obsessive thoughts, things like that. The purpose why I'm doing that is to help people in recovery identify this, to help people or to help loved ones who have maybe people in recovery around them, to help them understand this process, and to help people in recovery combat this. I'm going to share my experience, what I went through, because I just recently went through this, and what I did to combat these urges. I'm going to share my triggers and what I did to combat the urge. So basically, a trigger is an event or a situation that causes someone to do something. Now, these triggers can be internal or external. So triggers can be like a dream, a thought, sounds, memories, smells, touches, and something you touch, or something visual. Basically, what happened with me was I'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna go through the process first, and I'll get to my experience. So first off, it starts off with a trigger, then it goes to an obsessive thought. And obsessive thought it's a persistent and negative thought. Then you go to your urge. It's a strong desire or impulse, and that encourages a person to move in a particular direction. Then you have your impulse, and that's a sudden and strong, unreflective urge or desire to act. Then that goes hand in hand with compulsive, and that's irresistible, persistent impulse to perform an act. So impulsive and compulsive are kind of like hand in hand, but it's hard to understand unless you kind of go through it yourself, or I don't know, unless you deal with it, But to get a better understanding of it, I'm gonna kind of go through my situation, maybe have you guys kind of play along with me and get a better understanding on this. So my experience was, I was at my parents' house. I went downstairs in the basement. Now, a little background on this was I did a lot of drugs in my parents' basement. I was going down there to do laundry when I visited them, and based on whatever it was, it might have been visual, it could have been a smell, I don't know, but I got triggered, and could have been a memory, I had no idea, but it was triggered. And so after the event, the trigger that triggered it, my brain started searching for that feeling. It started searching for that feeling that the drugs used to give me down there in the basement. And then the obsessive thoughts started coming in, such as how much. So after the feeling started coming in, like, man, and it's so crazy, when that feeling comes in, basically a physical aspect comes in as well, where your body gets overwhelmed. And to relate this feeling to something, it's close to basically nervousness. And you can kind of relate this to being nervous, like going out on a first date, or standing in front of a crowd of people, maybe delivering a speech. So you have all these thoughts going through your head, and you're kind of like stuck for a second, and your brain starts searching for that feeling, and then all these thoughts start going through your head, the negative thoughts of how much would it take. My thoughts were, how much would it take to get that feeling, to achieve that feeling? Some other thoughts that I had were, I can get away with it. You know, like basically it was like, I can do a little bit and no one would know. We can only do, or I can just do one and that would be it. You know, basically it was just like those thoughts were kind of just cycling back and forth through my head. And that's it, you know. But some more of the physical aspects of that went along was like tingling in my hands, the flush feeling of going all over your body. You know, it's pretty crazy, you know, that all this is going on internally due to whatever happened that I seen, smelled, memory, the thoughts, you know. So what did I do to combat this and get over it? You know, there's numerous things that somebody can do in a situation to combat this, but what did I do? I mean, I had to talk out loud to myself. I was downstairs alone at the time, but I had to talk outside because I realized what was going on, and I talked out loud to myself, and I was like, wow, you know, my brain's telling me this, you know, that we can do this, or, you know, get away with this. And I had to sit there and say, wow, you know, and while all this is going on, the vision that I have of the future, if I were to do this, so basically it's like a fork in the road. If I were to go this way and do this, act on that impulse, numerous things are going through my head. That vision of the future, being able to help people, gone, squashed. A grave, there's numerous visions that I was seeing, gone. Unable to help people, all that pain just was cycling through, embarrassment, shame, guilt, all these feelings cycling through based on the thoughts that I was thinking, because obviously thoughts create emotion, you know. So all these thoughts were racing through my head, creating all these emotions. You know, and that's basically why I believe people go out and relapse, because they can't handle all these emotions. You know, they just think in the moment, you know, and either that or the urge just got too strong. I don't know, but for me, what I did to combat this was I challenged it. You know, when I think, oh yeah, just one, yeah, right. You know, I know what one leads to. You know. And never stop at one. It always goes to whatever. And then, but another thing that I could have done was I could have left the area. You know, I could have just walked upstairs. Something that I did do afterwards was I talked to my mom about it. You know, and that's the thing too. You know. Communication is huge. You know, call my sponsor, call another sponsee brother or sister. You know, I could have just waited for it to pass, which I did do as well. You know, but knowing what is going on inside of my own body is huge, and knowing how to combat this, because basically knowing me, knowing yourself is huge on combating your addiction. And And basically, I know that I can't just have one and have a drink, have a hit, and then I'll be fine. You know, it's not like that. I can't do that. So, you know, I reminded myself of my purpose, why I'm here. But that's it. You know, it's a huge thing because maybe we don't like the feeling, and that's the thing. We want to desire to control our feelings, you know, in the moment. And yeah, you know, we could be angry, depressed in the moment, and that's what leads us to drink, drug, whatever it may be. But you know what? I've had it where, yeah, I was angry, depressed, whatever it may be, and I've used drugs or alcohol in that moment, and I felt twice as bad. And it's 10 minutes and somebody just died from a heroin overdose on the average. So if you know somebody that uses, can you please make that phone call and see if they're all right? You know, I've used, but I'll tell you what, when I come back and I've used to cope with those emotions, I feel twice as bad. Feel even shittier, because now I've relapsed. Now I've caused so much more pain to myself. Who knows? I could have gotten in trouble with whatever. I let people down. I let myself down. There's so much more negative aspects, or you know, that come out of it, and I couldn't just let the emotions pass. You know, and emotions pass. They pass. Now I face my addiction again, and now I'm probably out on a, you know, now I'm out going strong again. So, and I mean, there's other situations where, you know, where I would be put in, like last time I relapsed was, where sometimes people use drugs and feel accepted, you know, and that can lead to a relapse, or they avoid criticism, or they just say F it, you know, I just want to use, you know, and that's terrible, because based on their emotions or their thoughts at the time, they act on that impulse and they can't control their feelings. So basically, if you're going somewhere where you know there's going to be people drinking, doing whatever, and you're in a very fragile emotional state, maybe don't go. If you're having a bad day, whatever it may be, and you do have a bad case of the FIs that day, don't go. If your willpower is low that day, don't go. You know, there's certain things that you can do to avoid, you know, running the risk of relapse. You know, communication and having the understanding of what's going on inside yourself, you know, the environment around you is huge. You know, being able to avoid situations, that's huge too. So, in my eyes, there's no reason to relapse anymore. You know, now that I have all this understanding and this knowledge, but that's me. You know, But I don't know. I just wanted to share this. You know, hopefully maybe people can get a better understanding on what people kind of go through. And I just want to share this as well. You know, triggers aren't negative all the time either. You know, there's positive triggers in life as well. And you know what, folks? You know what positive triggers are called? That's called inspiration. So I wanted to share that as well too. You know, and that's all I really want to share. And you know, open up your minds a little, stay blessed, and have a good one. Thank you.